Alright, so I just got back from book distribution today, and my lovely Vaishnavi wife has encouraged me to talk about it, because when I get back from book distribution, I love talking about it. So I'm just going to share two stories today. So I was down at UW, and the first 2 hours, I was just getting my ass kicked. Getting real, like, everybody either I was explaining the books to them as they were, and people either weren't interested or they did, but they had zero Lakshmi. Like, I was telling people even pennies, just trying to get the books out. No pennies, no debit card, no anything. And I just started getting real miserable. And I remember one time I wrote my uncle, a very nice Sankirtan devotee, asking him one time, I was having a real tough time in Hawaii one time doing books, no one was taking books. And I wrote to him, like, I need inspiration, so I wrote back to him, like, Uncle, did you ever have like a time like a really brutal day on book distribution? Now mind, like, no one's taking books from him, it's brutal. And he did books for, like, a decade. And he writes back to me and goes, Shri Arjuna, I had uncountless brutal days. What is a brutal day for you? Did someone steal your money? Did somebody hit you? Did someone steal your money and your books and then accuse you of stealing from them? Did someone call the police on you? And I just remember feeling so humbled when you wrote that. So today I was having like this brutal moment, and I remember that message from my uncle. It's like, I'm just getting a little bit of, like, humbling from Krishna. And I had this realization that, like, come on, like, just keep on going. It's my purification, holding me in the fire. And then I meet this one nice student. I think his name was Zhong. People mispronounce my name all the time, so I want to try and get his name right, but I can't get it exactly. I think it was Zhong. And I show him the perfection of yoga in the Bhagavad Gita. And at first I'm thinking he's not going to be very interested. But then he looks at the Bhagavad Gita and the Krishna book and says, would you consider helping us? We're trying to preserve these literatures. Just take them and giving a donation. And he goes, well, how much? I said, whatever you can. It's fine if you do $10, $12. Be very nice. And he goes, well, you give me $20. And it was just like, I've had this blissful doubt when people get like a penny before. Just like, you get that confidence that Krishna takes care. And I said, I'm doing this project, taking pictures so we can show the baby later on. It was just a blissful experience, and it hit me that we have a privilege to choose our suffering. That in this material world, especially on book distribution, there's so much suffering because of finances. Often the biggest hard thing about book distribution is stressing out that, oh my gosh, how are we going to make ends meet? But Krishna always arranges. And it hit me today that we have a privilege. We could be suffering in so many ways, and we have a privilege that we get to suffer on book distribution. Blissful experience. The other experience today, so I had it way back on last Saturday, I was doing books. I met this gentleman, and I approached him with the Bhagavad Gita, and he said, oh, wow! Wow! And he started asking me questions like, how long are you here for Seattle for? I'm like, well, about a week. He goes, wow, this is divine intervention. You were sent here for me. He said, I gotta have this book. I'm like, would you give a donation? He goes, I don't have any money on me. And I couldn't tell him no. He was so blissed out about the Bhagavad Gita. So he said, please, I'll meet up with you later, man. And I told him, I want to take your word, but the last time I took someone's word, it didn't pan out well for me. And he goes, I'm a man of my word. I said, okay, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you. You give me your phone number and I'll call you later on. So it happened a few days ago, so I called him up yesterday, and he goes, yeah, and he answers the phone saying, Krishna, man! And I'm like, whoa, dude, like, we had such a little interaction. It was awesome. And he goes, I was waiting for you to call me. Let's meet up tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I catch the light rail from campus downtown, and I see him, and he takes a book. He says, you know what? I'll tell you why I had to get the book. Because when you showed me the book on the streets, I turned over and I saw him. And I just watched a documentary about him 3 days back. And he goes, and he was so on point. Like someone would ask him some hard-ass question, and he would just bulldoze it. But it wasn't so high on my priorities. So I saw this book, and I'm like, this is divine intervention. I gotta have this book. And I'm like, yes. You see, that's what I love about book distribution. I got burnt out my time doing managerial services and one-on-one preaching. Actually, I like it. Just have people with the books. Oh,
that was the bread maker.
Okay, yeah. I had people books, and Prabhupada does a preaching. I don't have to worry about it. So usually when people want to ask me for I can do preaching for them, I'm nervous. But this soul was such a sweet person, and then he wants to talk about Bhagavad Gita chapter 9.1. Like I'm reciting a Samhita text. It was just blissful. Anyways, I just got back a half hour ago. Got my rounds chanted on the bus station. I'm going home here, so I'm gonna have some prasadam, chant Gayatri, sing to the deities. Book distribution is so blissful. Anyways, Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhupada!